All right, welcome. Today we'll be doing Lab 7-6. As you can see here, we're on Tableau, which is on the VMware for University of Arkansas. For our server, again, just like all our other ones. And for our database, we're going to do what we've been doing for our others, which is the WCOB Dillards. And then we're going to click Sign In. Here we can see all our tables have been brought in and everything. All right, so we're going to go and drag our Transact table over here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually open this up to where it's like this. That way we can do a join with our store table. So we can see here it has now made an inner join with our between our Transact and our store. We're going to go and update automatically. And that's going to, there we go. All right, so what we actually want to do up here is do a right join, a right inner join right there. And so and we don't want to necessarily hit this yet because it's going to be a really long wait for whenever you do that. So we don't really need to see that information, so we can just kind of move on. So we're going to go ahead and head over to our sheet 1, and we're going to pull in. First, we want to rename this to cluster transactions, and then we actually what we're doing here is trying to see how well each store is doing by transaction ID. So we're going to go ahead and pull our transaction ID up, which is right here. We're going to pull it into our columns. There we go. We're going to actually go ahead and hit cancel on that because we don't need to necessarily for it to run yet. And if we let it run, it'll take a long time because it's so much information. So we're going to go and just leave it like that for now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to measure, and we're going to turn this into account for transaction ID. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull our transaction amount right here into our rows. Just going to do some transaction amount, and we're going to go and cancel this. We're not going to let it process yet. All right, so we're going to turn our sum to average, kind of like what we've been doing with the past labs. We can go and cancel that. And then we're going to pull our store into color. And then it kind of already, that went a little bit faster for us. All right, so what you can kind of see here is that we have a really big outlier right here. This store 698 is actually the online store. So we're going to go ahead and click here, and we're going to exclude that one from our data set. Looking down here, so the count of transaction ID, this is how many transactions occur per store. And then this is the average transaction amount of those transactions. So like we can see store 405, has 972,000 transactions that have an average amount of 25. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. Okay, so what we actually want to do is make this into clusters. So we want to make sure we click on the analytics and not analysis. This right here up at analytics, and we're going to click drag cluster over. We can see here those variables are correct, and then we want 8 clusters. So we're going to type in 8. Yeah, and we can already kind of see it's already applied that over here, so we can see our 8 different clusters there. And we can go and all right, so we're just going to close this out, and so we can see here that we have our 8 clusters. And we see here that these are like, low performing stores, and these are our high performing stores. What we can do now is we're going to create a new sheet. We're going to name the sheet sales by month. And we're going to do our transaction amount in our columns. All right, and then we're going to pull our store into our rows. And I'll go ahead and just take y'all out of this wait. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and take our transaction date right here. We're going to throw it in our rows as well. All right, so here we are. So now we can see we have our 2014, 2015, 2016 we have it by year right now per store. Right now it has as automatic. We want to go ahead and make it a bar. That way it's a little bit easier to read. And then we're going to pull our transaction date back into color over here. And there we go. So now we have our different colors by which year it is. All right, so what we actually want to do is for this, we're going to make sure, so we have discrete checked, and what we want to do is we want to do month. As you can see here, we have two different months. We want to do the month that just has May in it. We want to make sure that if we do not include the year. So we just want this top one right here. And we'll go ahead and let it run. All right, there we go. So now we have it by month, and then we also want to go ahead and sort it in descending. So sort descending right there, and then we can close it out, and we saw that it kind of shifted around there. All right. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to pull our transaction date into label right here. And you can see it automatically does year, and we just want to go ahead and double check that yes, we do have it clicked on year. All right. All right, now we're going to go ahead and pull store and our transaction date into our filters. So bring our store up here, and we can click OK. And then we can take our transaction date and pull that into here. We want to click years. Right, and then we'll click OK. And we'll go and take you out of the wait. Right, so what we want to do is we actually want to make sure that our store is below our year filter. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go into our store. We're going to edit filter. We're going to click none. That way we can clear it all. And then what we want is our top performing store. So it's going to be 405. And then 405, 716. And then 743, 760, 768, then 775, and 796. And then we can click OK. And here we go. So now we can see our top performing stores. And then we can see here by month right here. And then we can see, so we have year here, and then we have the months within that. And to make this look a little better so we don't have a bunch of the years going on, we're actually going to go ahead and pull the year out of our label. And there we go. So that looks a lot better now. All right, so now we're just going to kind of alter our filter here. We're going to deselect 16 here. And now we can kind of just see it a little bit easier. It's a little less, crowded. 2014, 2015, we can compare those two years against each other with our stores. And then we can also go ahead and we'll click 16 and declick 14. And now we can compare 15 to 16 by the stores, our top performing stores right here. Okay, now we're going to go back over to our data source here. And we're going to go ahead and double click our SKU and our department. And we're actually going to make these left outer joins right here. There we go. All right, so now after we did that, we're going to go ahead and create a new worksheet, and we're going to call this one Sales by Department. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull our transaction amount into size. and we're going to pull our transaction amount into color. And then we want to pull our, up here, our department center description right here, and we're going to pull that into labels. And we'll go and let this run. All right, so here we can kind of see our size and everything. What we want to do is we want to go ahead and make a hierarchy. So we're going to drag our department description onto our department center description. All right, and create hierarchy. Okay. So now we can see here down at our hierarchy. And what you'll notice is that right here on our department center, there was a little plus mark that kind of popped up as soon as we created that hierarchy. So we can go ahead and click that plus mark. It wants to, there we go. And we'll go ahead and let that run. All right, now we can kind of see within every, department center, ready to wear, and then there's, we can see which ones are the highest selling within ready to wear, and that would be, the Eileen Fisher department. And so, as you can see here, our largest is going to be our least sales tax here, but we can really kind of break it out and get a little bit more detail about, what's selling more within each department description. With that, that'll be the end of Lab 7-7. Thank you very much.